Hi, everyone. Uh, Welcome back. It's Anna. I need to talk to you about something that's been sitting heavy in the space around you. There's this tension. You know the one I mean. That quiet feeling when you start replaying conversations in your mind, wondering if you heard what you think you heard because something's shifting. And you're going to find out the truth. Not because the universe is delivering some grand revelation, but because you're starting to notice things, small things. The way someone answers a question without really answering it, the way their tone changes when you bring up something specific, the way you feel smaller after certain conversations. Let me ask you something. Have you been feeling like you're second guessing yourself more than usual lately? Maybe you said something completely reasonable, and somehow by the end of the conversation, you're the one apologizing. You're the one wondering if you overreacted, if you misunderstood, if you're being too sensitive. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This message is about clarity, about seeing through the fog that someone else has been creating around you. And I know that sounds intense, but stay with me because what's happening right now is that you're waking up to a pattern you've been living inside of. And it can feel disorienting at first. It can feel like the ground is shifting under your feet. Some people experience this as a quiet unease. You're sitting at your desk doing something completely normal, and suddenly this thought drops into your mind. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Or you're rereading a text message for the third time and you realize they never actually addressed what you asked. They just redirected. They made it about something else. Hold on. Let me slow down for a second. I'm not saying someone is intentionally trying to hurt you. But I am saying that some people have learned, consciously or not, how to keep others off balance, how to make you question your own perspective, how to stay in control by making you feel like you're the one who's confused. And you've been carrying that. You've been carrying the weight of their emotional inconsistency, their vague answers, their subtle deflections. And it's exhausting. So here's what's shifting. You're starting to trust your instincts again. You're starting to notice the difference between someone who communicates with transparency and someone who uses words to create distance, confusion, or doubt. It's possible you've had a recent moment, maybe even just yesterday or this morning, where you felt that tightness in your chest. That moment when you wanted to say something, but you stopped yourself because you thought, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm making this a bigger deal than it is? But what if you're not wrong? What if your body has been trying to tell you something this whole time and you've been ignoring it because someone else convinced you to? Let's pause here for a moment. I want you to think about a specific person or situation, not to judge it, not to react, just notice. Notice how you feel when you think about them. Do you feel calm, grounded, or do you feel like you need to prepare yourself, like you need to be careful about what you say, how you say it, when you say it? If it's the second one, that's not connection. That's management. And I'm not sure why, but this feels important. You don't owe anyone your confusion. You don't owe anyone the benefit of the doubt when they've repeatedly shown you who they are through their actions. Because here's the thing, manipulation doesn't always look loud or obvious. It's not always gaslighting in the textbook sense. Sometimes it's just a subtle emotional pressure a sigh when you set a boundary, a comment that makes you feel guilty for having needs, a pattern of making promises that somehow never materialize, but they always have a reason, and the reason always sounds just reasonable enough. You may notice that this person, when confronted gently, doesn't get defensive in an obvious way. Instead, they get hurt, or they make you feel like you're being unfair, like you're not seeing their side, like you're not being compassionate enough. And so you back down, you soften, you apologize, and the cycle continues. But something's changing now. You're going to find out the truth, not because someone's going to confess, not because there's going to be some big dramatic confrontation, but because you're going to stop pretending you don't already know. Deep down, you've known. You've known for a while. You just didn't want to face it, because facing it means making a decision, and making a decision means things might change. And change, even when it's necessary, can feel terrifying. So let me ask you this. What would it feel like to stop managing someone else's emotions? To stop editing yourself, monitoring your tone, walking on eggshells? What would it feel like to just be honest? To say what you actually think and feel without rehearsing it 5 times in your head first? I think it would feel like relief. And maybe that scares you a little, because relief means you've been carrying something you didn't need to carry. Here's what I want you to understand. The truth isn't always dramatic. Sometimes the truth is just quiet recognition. It's sitting in your car after a conversation and realizing, I don't feel good after talking to them. It's noticing that you feel more anxious, not less, after spending time with someone who's supposed to care about you. It's noticing the silence, not the comfortable kind of silence, the heavy kind, the kind where you're both pretending everything's fine, but neither of you actually believes it. And here's the part that might sting a little. You've been allowing it, not because you're weak, not because you're naive, but because somewhere along the way, you learned that keeping the peace was safer than risking conflict. You learned that being accommodating, flexible, understanding would earn you love, respect, stability. But it didn't, did it? It just taught certain people that they could treat you inconsistently and you'd still be there. So don't allow them to manipulate you anymore. Not through guilt, not through vague promises, not through making you feel like you're asking for too much when you're literally just asking to be treated with basic respect and honesty. And I know that's easier said than done, because the people who do this, they're often people you care about, people you've invested in, people who, on their good days, make you feel seen and valued. And that's what makes it so confusing, because they're not all bad. They're just unreliable, inconsistent. And that inconsistency keeps you hooked, waiting for the next good moment. But you deserve consistency. You deserve to know where you stand. You deserve relationships where you don't have to guess, decode, or brace yourself. Let me ask you something else. Have you noticed a shift in how you're feeling about a specific situation or person in the last few days? Maybe something happened, or maybe nothing happened, and that's the problem. Maybe you're just tired of hoping, tired of waiting, tired of giving them the benefit of the doubt while you're the one left feeling uncertain. If that resonates, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and let me know. Have you been feeling this kind of emotional weight lately? Because here's what I'm sensing. You're on the edge of a decision. Not necessarily a decision to leave or to cut someone off, but a decision to stop participating in the confusion, a decision to stop making excuses for behavior that wouldn't be acceptable from anyone else. And that decision, it doesn't have to be loud. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to justify it. You just have to start honoring it quietly in your actions, in your boundaries, in the way you show up. It can feel like this: walking home one evening and realizing you don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace, or sitting with a decision and noticing that the anxiety you thought would come doesn't. Instead, there's just calm, clarity, a quiet sense of, yes, this is right. Take what resonates here. Leave what doesn't, but trust your inner knowing. Because you've been receiving signals for a while now. Small moments of discomfort, small moments where something felt off. And you've been brushing them aside, explaining them away, giving grace when maybe grace wasn't what was needed. The truth is already here. You're not discovering something new. You're just finally allowing yourself to see what's been in front of you. And I know that can feel heavy, because once you see it clearly, you can't unsee it. And once you acknowledge it, you're responsible for what you do next. But you're not alone in this. So many people are navigating this exact tension right now. This space between knowing something needs to change and actually making the change. So let me ask, what's one small thing you could do this week to honor your own clarity is less than #0? 5 hashes greater than. Maybe it's having a conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's not having a conversation and just giving yourself space. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's just sitting with the truth and letting it settle. Whatever it is, you remain in control of your choices. No one else gets to dictate your timeline. No one else gets to tell you how you should feel or what you should tolerate. You're stronger than the part of you that wants to keep the peace at any cost. You're wiser than the part of you that's afraid of being alone or misunderstood or judged for setting boundaries. And you're ready. Even if it doesn't feel like it yet, even if there's still fear. You're ready to stop letting someone else's emotional games determine your sense of reality. So here's how I want to leave you today. The truth you're looking for, it's not out there. It's not hidden in someone else's words or actions. It's already inside you. It's the quiet voice that's been whispering, this isn't okay. It's the feeling in your body that tenses up when you think about this person or situation. You don't need more proof. You don't need them to admit anything. You don't need permission. You just need to trust yourself. And when you do, everything starts to shift. Not magically, not overnight, but gradually, steadily. You'll notice you feel lighter, more grounded, more like yourself. So take a breath. You've got this. And whatever happens next, you're going to handle it with the clarity and strength you've been building this whole time. Thanks for being here. Leave a comment if this resonated. I'll see you soon. Take care of yourself.